and he had a little pill bottle full of liquid mercury. And he would bring it up to me, and he would pour it in my hands, and I would play with it.
This is Stalin's Views or Fake News. Tony, get ready. You ready to play?
Uh-oh. I'm ready.
All right, I have 5 facts about the Soviets.
Hang on. Do they have the same haircut?
Dum, dum, dum. You figured it out.
Rachel Maddow, Joseph Stalin.
They're basically the same. Yeah.
They are basically the same.
All right, I have 5 facts here about the former Soviet Union. And you have to determine whether or not these truly happened. Are these facts or fake news?
Uh-oh.
All right, first up. The Soviet Union liked to attach jet engines to things.
Okay.
In the 60s, they attached jet engines and wings to a speedboat and put missile launchers on the front of it because why the hell not? This is the missile launching speedboat from Fortnite. Not related, but funny.
Yeah. Well,
is this fake news or Stalin's views?
Well, I'm thinking of somebody like Rachel Maddow and the fake news that she spouts. Yeah, I don't know. I was going to say I don't think like the liberal fake news types have that cool of ideas even. Because this sounds awesome, frankly. Like that would, if I had the means to put a jet on a speedboat, I would definitely do it. No question about that.
Of course. Who wouldn't?
I also think that I happen to think a lot like Stalin, or at least I would be him as far as taking power at the Occupy movements, but that's a separate point. And he is the man of steel, which means he's a badass. And he's out there kicking ass and taking names, and he's kind of got a little bit of the American spirit. And if attaching a jet to a speedboat isn't the American spirit, which is what Stalin was all about after all, I don't know what it is. So I'm thinking that was actually that they were actually doing that in the Soviet Union.
You got it. That is Stalin's views. Stalin's views. They had some crazy tech, man. This particular vehicle was called the Ekranoplane. Pronounced Ekranoplane, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think my logic was exactly sound on that, but I wound up at the right answer anyway. So that's all.
You don't need logic Stalin didn't use logic. So this vehicle had short wings and used a phenomenon called ground effects to hover 10 to 20 feet above the surface of the water.
Huh.
In perfect conditions, it could reach speeds of up to 350 miles per hour.
So it was like just a transport vessel over bodies of water then.
It was a speedboat, but it hovered above the water to make it more, less resistance and whatnot. And see the missile launchers on the front of it? That's just to make it badass, of course. They did build a few of these, and they were operational for a short period of time. There's still some on display in the museum there. Very cool.
Yeah, so it's almost like a hovercraft.
Or like a shitty plane, Like
a shitty plane. Huh.
They did all sorts of these cool tech inventions. They also like to attach nuclear reactors to things. There was this vehicle called the Mole, which never really saw much action because it was, well, we'll get into that. But this was it, the Combat Mole. It operated using nuclear power and was 35 meters long. It could travel at a maximum speed of 7 kilometers per hour, and it went underground to attack like underground bunkers, like Hitler had. It could carry 5 crew members and up to 15 soldiers.
35 meters long. That's like 110, 120 foot. Damn, that's big. That's really big.
Well, it traveled 4.3 miles per hour, basically, so much faster than Elon Musk's shitty boring machine.
Take that, Elon.
Unfortunately, it exploded during one of the tests, killing everybody inside, and Probably not a good idea having nuclear-powered, like, boring things going into rock granite at, like, 4 miles an hour.
Yeah, it just...
But, like, the same sort of... They had this... Check this out. They have these tanks with, like, screw treads to go through the swamp and mud and shit.
I've seen stuff like that before. Yeah, that is pretty badass.
That's super cool, man. And they actually have, here's one in action that they still use. They still use these in some parts of Russia, I guess, Siberian places. This is like a miniaturized one. Oh, this is to recover cosmonauts coming back, it says.
I guess they have them land in, like, what is it, the shitty parts of Kazakhstan?
That's Is Kazakhstan swampy and muddy? I don't know.
That's where Borat's from. That's all I know about it.
All right, ready for number 2 here. A project was launched to train beluga whales and bottlenose dolphins as Red Army soldiers. They were outfitted with harpoons to attack enemy divers. Let me share the thing.
Something to visually represent that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is this fake news or Stalin's views? Red Army soldier dolphins.
Well, see, this does seem like something that I'm having Rachel, I probably shouldn't do this because this is a little bit before her time, but I'm just thinking of Rachel Maddow as the embodiment of fake news because she was the embodiment for this segment. She's a liberal, which, they're the worst. Ugh. Liberals care about animals because they're pussies. And they would probably think that something like this would be awful. And this would be their idea, because they're wanting to demonize the Soviet Union. This would be their idea of something that would get those other pussy-ass New York liberals upset at the animal-hating communists over there. So they'd talk about all these cute little animals that were being tortured and made to go out and fight and kill people and all sorts of awful stuff. On the other hand, there's a story about Joseph Stalin when he was a young kid swimming out to an island to rescue a baby calf that had gotten trapped when it was, I guess this river had flooded and this baby calf got trapped on this little island. He swam out there, rescued it, brought it back to shore, and broke its legs in front of his friends just to show him that he could. So I could also see it being a Soviet thing. Yeah, it's a true story. I don't know if it's a true story, but it's friends of his after he died that knew him when he was younger, before he was, Joseph Stalin, told this story about him. So I am going to say that this actually is something that the Soviets were doing, because they were always trying to figure out a way to mess with the Yankees, and those Yankee divers were probably just screwing up their nuclear subs and their nuclear powered jet boats, and they got they have to find some way to fight back at them, all the frogmen.
Of course, this is real. This is well known. This is Stalin's views. In 2018, Ukraine's ambassador to Crimea claimed rather generously that the combat dolphins stationed at Crimea had gone on hunger strike to protest their new Russian captors and had all died. This was a thing. The Russians trained them. They trained some with spears, and there were some others that were kamikazes to blow up boats. Here is this cute beluga whale that he escaped Russia fairly recently. This is 2020. He escaped Russia and he wound up in Norway, and he stole everyone's hearts at the harbor there.
Safe from harm.
When he showed up, he had this harness on him, and it said, like, property of Russia, and it had, like, telephone numbers on it and shit. So he got out. This happens fairly often. These animals escape.
Or so I thought. What I documented that first week was troubling. His arrival...
Yeah, and are we sure that they're not moles?
Living in a busy harbor.
They're playing the long con. Going
there
there,
was
being
an article.
Cute, getting people to pet them, gaining everyone's trust, and in 10 years, they initiate the plan.
The U.S. has these too. They have trained to locate mines and divers and things. Fairly intelligent animals, basically the same intelligence as like an elephant, supposedly.
Yeah. Yeah. See, locating mines and underwater stuff, underwater obstacles is a lot less nefarious. Like, I'm okay with that, but getting a dolphin to go out there and kill people, that's just kind of, it's something only the Soviets could do.
Yeah, I'm not sure how effective it would be with a spear on it. I don't know, man. They're pretty aggressive. Did you watch the video? There was a video today of a school of orcas killing a blue whale. First time caught on film.
They rip its tongue off.
I didn't see it. I didn't see that, but I didn't watch the end.
That was, yeah. They like all get around it, and I guess the blue whale, it's dying, and it opens up its mouth at one point. You see the orca goes in, grabs its tongue. There's just
I missed that part.
Blood goes everywhere. It just starts spewing out. It's ridiculous how much blood come out of it.
That's a big animal to take down, man.
Yeah, I guess this is like a new thing or they just documented it. This is that they prey on blue whales. I think that's what it was.
Well, this beluga whale's name is Valdemir. He escaped Russia and is now trying to become a Norway citizen. This leads me to believe that Valdemir is most likely a union activist escaping persecution and should be granted amnesty because Russia, much like the Soviet Union, is inhospitable to independent labor unions. So grant Valdemir citizenship, please. At least amnesty. Give this guy a home.
Give him a job at Starbucks, and he can help organize their union.
Put him down at Bessemer.
Yeah.
Next up, number 3, the Global Rocket, or GR-1 as it was called, was a rocket designed to blast into low Earth orbit, where it would circle the Earth at high speed until its warhead would re-enter at a target in a non-predictable way. The rocket was meant to circumvent American missile defense systems. Is this Stalin's views or fake news? The Global Rocket.
Global Rocket. I could see the Boeing and Lockheed Martin going to CNN in this one. We'll leave Rachel out of this. Go to CNN and say, hey, look, we haven't been getting as many billions of dollars in subsidies as we want. I want to buy me another yacht. So I want you to get on there and talk about how the Soviets are building this rocket. I don't know, yada, yada, whatever. And get everybody scared so that we get another $50 billion grant to build some anti-Soviet rockets. It could be fake news. That could have been what happened. I'm sure that does happen every day, incidentally. On the other hand, got to get past them U.S. defenses, and there's nothing Stalin loved more than trying to sneak his way in between all of our defenses and come up with the craziest weapons he could. I'm going to say I think this might be 3 in a row that this is another Stalin's views.
Unfortunately, you're not correct, sir. Not this time. This is fake news.
Oh, man.
Let me play the clip here. Okay, this is a May Day parade in 1967. This is fake news. They had claimed to have this weapon, whereas they had only started the design of it, and it never came to fruition. But, what Stalin would do is he would have these parades with all these fake missiles, and he would claim that this was the missile. This was the global rocket. Khrushchev claimed it was completed. Oh, this was under Khrushchev. In reality, it had barely begun the planning process and would later be scrapped. So, yeah, they did this regularly with these fake missiles.
I was going to say, that sounds like what I do. Talk about like this state-of-the-art laboratory I'm making. And I guess I technically am. I drew a picture of it. And I plan on doing it at some point. So I'm just going to go ahead and claim it. And I guess that's
Um,
what, once again, me and Stalin a lot alike.
The GR1
dreamers.
project, was replaced by the R-36 project. This was an orbital missile which could hold up to 10 separate warheads, each of which could obliterate an entire city. So they didn't do the GR1 global rocket deal, but they did an even more destructive and horrible globe-circling 10-warhead rocket that would it would orbit the Earth and then break up into 10 pieces, and then each one would be a nuclear bomb that would land in an American city. Crazy shit. I'm sure we had just as crazy shit that was never been declassified, I imagine.
For sure.
All right. That was fake news. What about the next one? Number 4 on the list. Due to heavy Russian interest in nuclear isomer technology, a top-secret substance known as red mercury was developed, allowing fission bomb technology to be substantially smaller in size with the same explosive yield. This is a website selling this particular product.
Pure red liquid mercury. Pure red liquid mercury. Huh.
Miniaturized nuclear warheads with this substance.
So, I want to flex my scientific knowledge for everybody out there right now. When I was a kid living out in Breckenridge County, out in the woods, I had a neighbor that was a couple of years older than me, but I would play with him. I was like 6 years old at the time. And he had collected a bunch of old thermometers and broke them open. And he had a little pill bottle full of liquid mercury. And he would bring it up to me, and he would pour it in my hands, and I would play with it, and I'd give it back to him. And
this explains so much.
Yeah. I told my dad about playing with liquid mercury, and he said, "Go over to the water hose and wash your hands off." And so
that's how it works.
I went to the water hose and I washed my hands off. He said, "Don't do that again." As far as I can remember, that mercury was not red; it was a silvery gray. Sure. And I know that mercury is a basic element, and I don't know how you would have 99%. Well, maybe it's. I was gonna say, how could you have pure mercury with a different color to it? I mean, I don't know. This seems like something made up to scare people. Something fake news. Maybe the red, because it's special mercury, but it's also red, as in it's Red Scare. It's the Reds and their mercury, and they figured something out. So, the Soviets were nothing if they were not scientists and dedicated to advancing scientific understanding. And this reeks to me of science fiction, not science fact. So I'm going to call this fake news.
Yes, this is fake news. It was rumored for many, many decades. Originally, it wasn't even colored red. It was red because it was from Russia or from the USSR. Eventually, over time, it morphed into this red substance. There are some compounds of mercury that are red naturally, but this particular substance has never been proven to exist. In 2004, several men were arrested in the UK for attempting to buy £1 million worth of red mercury. The IAEA made a statement saying that red mercury is a load of, quote, malarkey. So this has been peddled sort of like snake oil wise online for a long time. People buy it thinking that this is a real thing because it was mentioned in Pravda, the Soviet newspaper, and mentioned a few other places.
This reminds me of the people that try to buy Red Rock opium. And it's just shitty heroin is all they're buying. It's not opium. There's no Red Rock opium.
There is speculation that red mercury could be a code name for the American secret substance known as fog bank. Fog bank is rumored to be an aerogel material used to carry over the initial fusion stage of the nuclear blast into nuclear fission. This has been acknowledged to exist by the U.S., but it's not. It's highly classified, and we don't know anything about it. But on a separate note, these aerogels are cool, man. Have you seen these things?
I have not. Don't think I have.
Look at this stuff.
Huh.
it's like they take gel and they get all the moisture out of it using alcohol and stuff. And if they do it just right, it makes it super light. If you take all the air out of the porous space in the aerogel, it would be less dense than air. It would float in air. Pretty crazy.
Really?
And it's fairly strong for what it is. But it's very. They use it on the Mars rover and stuff because of it's so temperature. It's
like insulation, I guess.
Insulatory, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Huh.
Very cool. Very cool stuff. I like to get hold of
science. Science is amazing.
It is. If only we could convince the Republicans.
Yeah.
Number 5. Last one.
All right. Last one.
U.S. companies have copied Russian mind control technology to be used in airports to spot terrorists. Is this Stalin's views or fake news?
Huh. Well, I want to say in X-Men, one of the psychic mutants was Russian. I'm trying to remember who it was. So I know there's that connection, for example.
Sure. Logical.
I've also seen the documentary with George Clooney, The Men Who Stare at Goats. Did you ever see that?
I have not. Is it good?
Okay. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's about the PSYOPs program, kind of during this period, the Cold War period. And that, I mean, it seemed very credible to me that they were able to kill a goat by staring at it, that they were able to run through walls. And I know a lot of these techniques were developed in Russia.
I'm writing that down because I love docs.
Yeah, and I don't know. On the other hand, I feel like this is all bullshit, so I'm gonna say fake news.
Well, unfortunately, Tony, this is true. This is a true story.
Oh, shit.
So the way this works is the wearer plays a simple game with a headset on. And here, let me put a picture of the headset up here. There's a Wired article about it here. Here's the actual headset.
Oh, no.
The wearer plays a simple game while the headset flashes subliminal images of Osama bin Laden or the World Trade Centers. A normal person and a terrorist will have different results in the game they're playing.
It's the erection, right? The terrorist gets an erection?
Maybe that's it. I don't know how they would measure that. Yes. Quoting from the article here, this goes back to Soviet technology that they were working on back in the 80s, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this is a long project of theirs they've been working on. It's like a whole field of science to them. So this has been, I'm quoting from the Wired article on this here, marketed in North America as SSRM Tech. The technology will soon be tested for airport screening by a U.S. company under contract to the Department of Homeland Security. Russell Kina markets the technology as a program called MindReader 2.0. To sell MindReader to the West, she's teamed up with a Canadian firm, which is now working with a U.S. defense contractor called SRS Technologies. This May, DHS, Department of Homeland Security, announced plans to award a sole source contract to conduct the first U.S. government-sponsored testing of SSRM tech. So,
hang on. I got a follow-up question. Is Elon Musk the one behind this? This sounds like another bullshit scientific breakthrough that he's trying to sell to the taxpayers.
There's a lot of Elon Musks out there.
I guess so. Yeah, this is exactly what this sounds like. Some nonsense technology that doesn't work that we're going to sell to the Department of Homeland Security to do something that patting people down does just as well.
Well, I think they're going to pat the people down, but like if they're on the no-fly list or whatever, they can use this to sort of check in their inner thoughts, subliminal response.
or they're on a no-fly list, so you just tell them to turn around.
It seems like this is
do
just
that,
lie
too.
detector technology, isn't it? Isn't this the
which
same
is
as like
bullshit.
the lie detector?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, which is bullshit. Like, people have different reactions to different things, and you can't really.
Well, the lie detector works though. Mostly.
So, well, I mean, it mostly, yeah.
Unless you take like a
what, like
then you can pass it.
70% or something like that?
Well, you can
It's
trick
not
it
that
supposedly.
reliable.
Yeah.
No, I failed. So I took one when I was 15 and failed it.
Really?
Over something that I did not do.
Interesting.
Yeah, I failed it with. There was 2 of the questions I failed. I was lying with because I got the results of it. I was lying with 99% certainty, and I was telling the truth. Like,
And then you were executed the next day.